You grow up in a dust-choked border town in South Texas, the kind of place where the American dream stops at the Rio Grande. Your father dies when you were 12. He leaves behind nothing but a mountain of medical debt and a foreclosure notice. Your older brother, Leo, drops out of high school to stock shelves at a warehouse. He has a mind for numbers, but numbers don't pay the rent. You channel your anger into discipline. You run 10 miles a day in the blistering heat. You enlist the minute you turn 18. You want out. Leo stays to take care of your mother. Coronado is freezing. Bud's training is designed to break you down to your baseline. You don't break. You earn your trident. You learn the mechanics of violence, close quarters battle, ballistic breaching, threat identification. You become a blunt instrument for the state. Leo calls you on your graduation day. His voice sounds different. He tells you he got a promotion. He says he's managing logistics for an import-export firm down in Tamaulipas. You ask him what they import. He pauses for 3 seconds before answering. He says agricultural chemicals. You know it's a lie. You visit home before your first deployment. Your mother's house has a new roof. Her medical debts are zeroed out. Leo drives up in a matte black Silverado. He wears a heavy gold chain tucked under a designer shirt. He hands you an envelope of cash, $50 bills perfectly banded. He says it's to keep you safe. You don't take it. You look at his hands. His cuticles are burned yellow from hydrochloric acid. You know he isn't moving fertilizer. He's moving precursors, methylamine, phenylacetone. You don't say a word. You just pack your sea bag and leave for your first combat tour.
You spend the next 6 years deploying to places that don't exist on public maps. Night raids in the Hindu Kush, direct action missions in the Horn of Africa. Your world is dictated by satellite uplinks, IR strobes, and the rhythmic thud of rotor blades. You learn to sleep on metal floors. You learn to compartmentalize. Leo is compartmentalizing too. He isn't just moving precursors anymore. He's cooking. You hear the rumors from DEA liaisons attached to your strike group. A new product flooding the Southwest. Purity levels sitting at a steady 96%. Crystal clear, no residual solvents. They say the cook is a ghost. They call him Espectro. You come home on leave. Your mother's house is now a sprawling estate behind forged steel gates. Leo meets you in the courtyard. He's flanked by 2 men wearing tailored suits and carrying concealed holsters. He dismisses them with a flick of his wrist. They step back, but they don't leave. He pours you a glass of high-end mezcal. His hands don't shake. He has the calm demeanor of a CEO. He talks about supply chain bottlenecks, about bribing port officials in Manzanillo to clear shipping containers. He talks about routing money through shell corporations in Panama. He frames it all as a corporate enterprise, a logistics challenge. You ask him how many bodies his logistics challenge drops a week. He stops pouring. He looks at you with dead, flat eyes. He says violence is just a tax on doing business. He says he keeps the tax as low as possible. You tell him the Joint Special Operations Command is spinning up a counter-narcotics task force. He smiles. He says he already has the task force roster. He knows your commander's name. The mezcal tastes like ash in your mouth.
Year 8. You are assigned to a specialized JSOC element operating south of the border. Title 50 authority, no badges, no jurisdiction limits, a purely kinetic operation. The target is the cartel's primary manufacturing hub, a massive subterranean lab in the Sierra Madre. The briefing room is heavily air-conditioned. The intel officer pulls up satellite imagery on the projector. Thermal imaging shows heat plumes venting from a mountainside, industrial-scale methamphetamine production. The objective is capture or kill. The primary target is the operations architect. They put a surveillance photo on the screen. It's grainy, pulled from a drone feed 3 miles up. The man is wearing a tactical vest, directing the loading of a fortified transport truck. The facial recognition software flags a 60% match. It's enough for a green light. You don't need the software. You recognize the way he stands, the slight roll of his left shoulder. It's Leo. You stare at the screen. Your pulse doesn't spike. Your breathing remains completely even. You are a professional. You have been trained to turn off the human part of your brain. The commander asks if anyone needs a review of the layout. You shake your head. You spend the next 10 hours prepping your gear. You check your plate carrier. You load 30-round magazines with subsonic 300 blackout rounds. You test your dual-tube night vision goggles. You wipe down the suppressor on your rifle. Every click of metal is a meditation. You don't think about the porch you grew up on. You don't think about Leo teaching you how to throw a baseball. You think about fields of fire. You think about breach points and exfiltration routes. You are going to war against your own blood.
The stealth Blackhawk skims the treetops. The cabin is pitch black, vibrating with raw engine power. You sit by the open door, the wind tearing at your tactical uniform. The pilot flashes the 1-minute warning. You lower your night vision goggles. The world turns a crisp, radioactive green. You fast rope down into the dust. Your boots hit the ground without a sound. Your team moves like liquid, stacking up on the reinforced steel door of the cavern entrance. The breacher sets the explosive charge, a suppressed countdown. 3, 2, 1. The door blows inward. The shockwave rattles your teeth. You flood the tunnel. The lab is massive, a cathedral of poison. Stainless steel vats, fractional distillation columns, miles of PVC piping. The cartel guards are disorganized. They rely on fear, not training. Your team relies on muscle memory. Double taps to center mass, suppressed rifles coughing quietly in the dark. You move past chemical storage, 50-gallon drums of phenylacetic acid. The smell is overpowering even through your mask. You clear the catwalks. You drop a guard before he can raise his AK-47. The brass casings hit the metal grating. You push deeper, heading for the command office at the back of the cavern. The door is locked. You kick it open, rifle raised, laser sight cutting through the chemical haze. Leo is standing behind a bank of computer monitors. He isn't armed. He is frantically dumping hard drives into an industrial degausser. He freezes when the infrared laser centers perfectly on his chest. He raises his hand slowly. The burn scars on his knuckles are clearly visible in the green glow. He looks past the 4 lenses of your goggles. He knows exactly who is holding the rifle.
Your squad leader is 2 rooms behind, securing the precursor manifest. You have exactly 20 seconds before the rest of the team breaches this office. Leo doesn't beg. He doesn't panic. He calculates the variables, just like he always did. He tells you the cartel has Mother's address on a dead man's switch. If he gets processed into a federal black site, the signal drops. A hit squad visits her house. He says the only way she survives is if he dies right here, defending the lab. A cartel martyr, no loose ends. The contract on her gets canceled. He opens his desk drawer. He doesn't pull a gun. He pulls a small silver capsule. Sodium cyanide. Instant central nervous system shutdown. He looks at you. He says you were always the brave one. He says he's proud of you. You hear the heavy footsteps of your squad echoing down the metal corridor. You don't lower your weapon. You don't break protocol. You watch your brother put the capsule in his mouth. He bites down. He violently seizes, collapsing against the server rack. It's over in seconds. Your squad leader enters the room, sweeping the corners. He looks at the body. He calls a target secure over the encrypted radio net. He asks if you're good. You reply that your sectors are clear. 3 months later, you were sitting at your mother's massive dining table. She serves you dinner. She asks if you've heard from Leo. She says he hasn't called. You look at the food you can't taste. You look at the house bought with blood money. You tell her he got a major promotion. You tell her he's too busy to call. You chew slowly. The silence in the room feels heavier than a loaded rifle.